Hey guys, we are back with another episode of Road to Eternity. I'm here with a slew of hosts. Gazlov, say hi.
How's it going?
RCK, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Rosia, nice to have you again.
Well, thank you for having me again.
The Mian, how are you doing, dude?
Greetings. Quite good.
Toolbox, welcome back.
Thank you.
And Zan, how are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Now, Toolbox, you get to be spotlight right first
no.
in the line. Are you going to tell us your entire strategy and who you're going to kill first?
Where am I?
You are in the bottom left-hand corner of the upper left-hand picture. Pangea is you've got you're on the northern coast, or you're on the southern coast of Phaecia. You're next to Asphodel.
Right. So I'm studying that forest there, right?
Yeah, and you've got a good
Okay.
number of forests. Is this is
Okay.
usually? I mean, we just went over the EA version of Pan. Is this a good start
Okay.
for you?
Oh, that's not so bad. When you said my capital's right next to the coast in the last video, I was sad. But that's not so bad. And the Asphodel's my neighbor to my right?
Yep, Asphodel
Yes.
is to your east. Let me see if
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out where this is in the. Okay, you actually are starting in between the two water nations of sorts if they really want to go around. I'm going to try to get another picture here. But one thing I saw was you do have a lot of forests. And what are forests going to bring to the... what are they going to bring to things for you?
Okay, that changes everything. Okay, I am here. Okay, I can't tell where I am.
Okay.
Here.
Pan
So,
is... Hold on. Maybe I might have got the wrong image here. I thought that you're...
I was confused
Yeah,
for a
that didn't
second.
look right.
I was like,
Oh,
what
no,
is
that
this?
you're right. This is... Okay, hold on. So,
Hold up.
but you do have a lot of forests next to you. Is this going to make it where you're going to be less likely to go out and be aggressive? Because I remember that what was it? Nosy was very aggressive with Pan because he didn't have forests nearby. Does this allow you to turtle up?
No. You can't turtle up because all of your majors are so much more expensive than other nations' majors. You just have to do something. If you don't do anything, it's game over, man. So.
I would
You
say
gotta
your
do
mages are
something.
relatively cheaper than mine.
Well, this is like who is poorer and like, oh, gee, you look better than North Koreans, so you're better off, right? Sort of an argument.
Wait, you guys have cheap mages?
Okay, so Pan is right
No.
here.
Yeah.
And then on the northern border is Phaecia. You have Asphodel to your east, and I can't really see. I think Abyssius to your west, but it's a ways away. I mean, is this an ideal starting location for you?
That's not so bad. I mean, it can be worse, it can be better, but that's not bad. That's decent. At least I start off in the forest this time. So yeah. Having a lot of forests next to me is very helpful because I do like recruiting satyrs, even though they're really weak most of the time. But they're stealthy and they can raid, and I need my capital to produce all the pans, like all the sacreds that I can get holds of. So
Yeah, satyrs are great. I love satyrs.
satyrs are better than what people think. As long as you don't put them in the front line and expect them to beat out the sacreds, they're fine.
In LA, I took 17 provinces in one turn with them not too long ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what you want to do, right? If you want to rush someone down.
Now, we talked about we went over EA Pan. Zan, which is the scarier? What is the scariest Pan for you between EA, MA, and LA?
Personally, I haven't fought against MA Pan, so I don't know about that. I'm currently playing as EA Pan, and it's not fun for the people I'm fighting against.
Wait,
And
didn't you play in the first Omniscience game, Dance of Monkeys? Weren't you Pan in that one?
Nope.
Who are you in that one?
I wasn't in that one.
Oh, you weren't in that one?
No, that was Jared LOL.
Yeah.
Jared, that's right. That was Jared. Ah, that's right. Okay. So you haven't played, but you played EA and you played LA, correct?
I've played against LA by Sakane, and it was honestly terrifying. And I am playing as EA with a very scary bless, and I feel like I am very terrifying.
Okay.
Having four capitals halfway into the game doesn't help.
Now, Gazov, what does Pan lose between going from EA to MA? What is the difference between the two?
Oh, don't ask me that one.
Okay, let's go to Rosia. Do you know? Yep, we might have lost Rosia. Does anybody know what they lose between EA to MA?
So,
The Dryads don't have guaranteed water anymore.
So,
Okay.
but what they do have, they can random nature. So it's actually better if you get 2 nature instead of 1 nature and 1 water. Which means which is better because you get 50-50. You get half of them 2 nature 2s, which means that you can cast Creeping Doom with it, and Creeping Doom is so much better than Swarm. And if you get 1 water, 1 nature, you can put a Thistle Mace on them and be a designated Foul Vapor caster, which is very important for Pan too. And another thing is, MA Pan gets Pandemoniacs, which is a Sacred Oni recruit, which is a designated Blood Mage for the nation. And the MA Pan doesn't get any Blood Path, whereas EA Pan has to do everything.
EA Pan gets it through the Pans themselves.
Yeah, the Pans have,
Blood
yeah.
1. They all have Blood
MA
1, and they can random up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
They can random
it's
up to Blood
10%
3.
random. Yeah. 10.
No. It's they have Blood 1, fact. Then they have a 50% chance
yes.
of getting E2
EA
or Blood 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
MA
let
Pan
me
doesn't.
pull up this is the EA Pan right here.
That's-
The big swarm
That's
of
it.
vampires I have as EA Pan is thanks to these gentlemen with their blood.
But
hunting.
what is the Pandemonium? What is this unit? Because I think I've seen him when I fought against Pan forever ago.
It's a cap only, and it looks like Pan, but it has Blood Path. It has 2 Blood Path. That's the one. Yep. It's cheaper, which is I usually recruit Pandemoniacs in my cap for that reason.
And what does sorry, I just got RCK. What does blood bring to Pangea? Do you have anything?
Not particularly. I've never played Pan. I've killed him twice though.
How did you end up beating him?
I was playing Armor War, just doing Armor things. In another game, I think I was playing Lemuria or something like that, but that's beside the point. What I really feel what's going to happen in this game, or especially early on, is which centaurs are we going to see really come out on top? Because we have Asphodel beside Pangea, and everybody knows Asphodel is just dying to get their hands on some more nature.
Yeah. Same with Pan though. So
Yeah,
It's
Pan and
well
Asphodel both
worth
want
it.
nature. So we'll see how that goes, I guess.
It's really interesting. Normally, I see a fight over I go after the easiest target, but I do know people who go after fights specifically for the gems. What kind of player are Zan? Are your fights ever over gems, or are they the easiest target? Zan, are you there, dude?
Oh, I was muted. No, I could care less about the gems. I just go for the easiest target.
Yeah, I tend to do that too.
The EA Pan game I was just talking about, it started with I saw EA Satis die in his cap circle, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm taking Satis. And I couldn't use any of the death gems for half the game, but hey, I had a bunch of them when I could.
There's always a use for a death gem. I find that out. Unless did you have like 0 death mages?
I had an imprisoned pretender with death paths, and that was it.
Okay, so turn 36, you had some fun.
So turn 36, I had like 100 death gems thanks to something.
Even if you
dumb
don't
like
have that, you can just empower and then summon with the water 3 and boost up that way.
It's really interesting to see how like your targets are made. And while I really like to see the Asphodel Pan, I think that it's going to be dependent on which bless they have. And I mean, with Pan, you've got so many different options. We went over EA. Are there any options that you lose going from EA to MA, or is there any that you gain? Toolbox, what's your thoughts on this? Is there anything that changes?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Is there anything that changes from EA to MA?
Is Pan?
Like any strategies that come unlocked?
Oh, any strategies? No, not really. No, I don't think. At least the way I play it, I'm not gonna change my strategy. But there is quite a bit of difference between LA and MA.
I'm still waiting for Rosiek to come back because we're going to be pushing on to the next nation now, and hopefully he can. Oh, Rosie, are you there, dude? Oops. Rosie, are you there? Okay. Well, we're gonna hit on Relay now, and if he does come back, then he can just shout out, and then we'll get his opinion on that. One thing of note, we were talking about this in the first episode, was that he is by himself in a lake. RCK, when you were, because you just came from a game where you were the only person in the lake, do you feel like that he should be raiding the coast, or that he should be making naps? What would you have changed between the last game and this one?
Between that, I mean, I feel like I started raiding, just being cool I was, in about the time where I was making super combatants, being my tail kings. Gaslov already won, so that was interesting. But I feel like Relay's going to be a good position in this game. I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of early wars. I feel like it's going to be there. He's going to be able to definitely get a couple footholds on the land pretty easily. There's not too many people that can really fight back. I mean,
yeah,
there's just not.
Rosia, did you make it back, dude?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, I see that you've got 3 thrones on the shore and 1 underneath water. How thrilled are you about this map?
So that's a pretty normal distribution. It's a good size water, and if I'm not mistaken, there is one area where it's one province in between my lake and the Fascia Lake. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the map.
I'm trying to find. I thought I took a picture of that.
I think it's 2 provinces.
Yeah, there's a 2 province gap, but it's still, and it's one of them's a throne. Now, I mean, as a Relay player, you want to get all of the lakes, I assume, correct?
That's the general goal. I'm not as worried about some of the one province lakes. You know, if it would make somebody mad for me to set up shop there, it's obviously diplomacy will develop as the game goes on.
Now,
The ones near me are going to be pretty useless pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Now, theoretically, let's take the situation that you do migrate over to the Fascian Lake. Would you allow somebody else to cut you off, or do you need that line of control between the 2 lakes?
That would depend upon the game situation.
But you would be, theoretically, there is a game situation where you would be okay with a separated empire.
It would depend.
Okay, but yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea if there's ever a possibility. Because to me, one of the things about Dominions is I've never had my empire split up before. I can't even think of a single time, other than through raiding or something like that.
I will say I have seen somebody play Relier like that before.
Did it work out for them?
It worked out for them pretty well.
Okay. What is the?
It was also a late age R'lyeh, and it was a DE game, so it's a little bit different. But the main thing was that they were alone underwater, and there were two major areas of water, and I was actually in between the two. So they had a teleporting pretender, and they went from one to the other, and they basically set up shop in both of them.
Now I've just highlighted the connection between you and Fascia. And this is the the throne is what I'm kind of curious about, because if it's a big throne, it's going to be a big thorn in the throne is going to be a thorn in your side. Whereas if it's something that you can
we'll
jump
see
over,
what's on the throne, I suppose.
As a Phasian player, should you be worried? And I'm going to throw this over to somebody else. Toolbox, as a Phasian player, would you be worried about R'lyeh coming over?
It depends on the stage of the game, I guess. But if it's really early in the game, probably, definitely. But realistically, there's not a real easy way for R'lyeh to get to the Phasian lake in the early game. So
If I'm Fascia, I would not want to allow that at all. Like having somebody who can fort up and be very hard to dislodge right next to your capital is asking for problems.
Yeah, it's just it's still not very easy to get in there. So
Chime in on that. Yeah, if R'lyeh gets in the water, it's bad. But if Fascia lets R'lyeh get in the water, he's bad. He has an infantry unit that is like tailor-made to beat up the prime R'lyeh unit, the Meteorite Guard.
Okay, so they have something to deal with it. There's at least a fight. It might not be so it's not a completely one-sided fight, is what you're saying.
It should be one-sided in Fascia's favor if it's on land.
Oh, if it's on land, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
of note, to the northeast and southwest, if you see the little green castles, that is Nabaa and Sitis. Do either of these nations have the ability to go underwater and take the fight to either R'lyeh or contesting Fascia's lake?
Yes.
Okay, can you go into more detail, Ruzia?
Naba is a little bit trickier because they would have to use geared commanders probably to break into the underwater. And then in the very late game, of course, they have Marids, but that's not really something you should be counting on. Sitis is much more reliable simply because they have death mages and water mages, both of which can fight reasonably well underwater.
Now, we talked about this focal point right here, and how much do you think that this is going to be fought over between the four nations, RCK?
Depending on what throne that is, if it turns out to be a low throne, definitely either or especially later in the game. And I do see R'lyeh and Fascia fighting over that land a good bit, either Fascia keeping R'lyeh out or just Fascia trying to hold more coastline, pretty much.
Gazlov, if you are Sitis or Nabaa, do you try to stop R'lyeh from jumping, or do you just hands off, y'all do what you want?
If you're Sitis, I don't think he wants that fight. I think he's going to want to recruit R'lyeh to his side. If you're Nabaa, I think it's a good idea just to kind of hamstring R'lyeh a little bit. It might not be worth it. Sometimes it's better to play nice with the single underwater nation, just so that they're not annoying you. But it's his call. It's going to be his call, ultimately.
Of note,
I don't think there's a lot of advantage, honestly, for Nabaa to keep him from spreading across.
Okay. Of note, that forest next to the throne is in Sitis's cap circle. So the question I have is, let's say the throne is a 3-point monolith throne, something that you're not going to see taken until turn 30 plus. As a Nabab player, would you allow them to have that large province south of the or in between the two farms? Let's go with Zan. What's your thoughts on this?
Could you repeat that question? It's a level 3 throne at the monolith.
Okay, so pretend that there's that throne is untakeable. The only path that Relay has between those two towns. Do you see that's the only path they can take unless they want to invade Satis's cap circle. So you've got the forest is let me see if I can actually show this. This one right here, that's Satis's cap circle. This one's a throne. And this one is actually closer to Nabab's cap than it is to Relay's cap. How willing are you to allow Relay to go all the way around there?
It's an easier fight for Relay to take that monolith, so I'll probably let them do it, and then just swoop in after because that's the land province.
Would you allow Relay to go into that lake through that province though? And I'm talking about this. Let me make it the red one. Because that's the big province right there that I'm seeing as a problem. If the throne is a no-go, the cap circle is probably going to be a no-go. And what's interesting is that province right there, I mean, if I'm Nabab, that's a nice province.
If I can secure a very good diplomatic deal, yeah.
Why would we assume that I would be going through that province if the throne is untakeable?
That's a good question. I mean, would you be willing to? I'm trying to avoid you, Rosia, because I don't want to give away too many of your strategies.
Well,
but how desperate are you?
Ways to go from the two that don't involve taking cap circles from other players.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This little gap right here is going to be a really interesting focal point if the diplomacy goes that way. So,
were I Nabab and I was fighting Fascia, or it didn't like Fascia for whatever reason, I could set up a temporary deal with Relay to let them go through there.
Okay.
Just me though, I'm crazy.
Okay, Relay, Rosia, do you see yourself fighting other nations? I mean, how do you feel about Relay on land? How are their fighting capacity or capabilities?
They're fine.
And what makes them able to? Because I mean, most water nations, once they step on land, become very powerless.
Almost all of their troops and mages can go on land. They have strong astral mages. They have okay comedians. They have assassins, and they have good troops.
Okay, excellent.
Meteorite Guard are competitive with most land nations' troops.
They have stuff even outside of Meteorite Guards that are useful. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, like we're not talking about flimsy stuff here, and they can bring the mages with them.
Yeah, it's not Turtle Tribe from early age Pelagia, so it's fine.
Wait, which ones are better? The Mer guys or the Turtle Tribe?
Oh my gosh, we have to bring in the Ichthyans too. Of course,
we can get the Ichthyans in there too. It was a 3-way fight. Okay,
I would say Turtle Tribe are the best.
No, we're not having this conversation.
I disagree.
Rosia, have you watched any of my videos with the debates?
I have not.
We had 20-minute. What was the argument? 20-minute argument. Which is better? What were the two groups?
Ichthyans and the Abyssian guys.
Yeah, 20, I think it was like 15 to 20 minutes. So let's move on to Abyssia. Before we get too off track. Zan, how are you liking your starting location? You are in the lower right-hand corner on the mountains. Is the mountains a national start for Abyssia?
I'm not gonna lie, it's very blurry, but is that a cave that I'm starting in?
Yes. I have no clue. I'm guessing it is.
I hope it's a cave.
Why is that?
Abyssia gets additional resources and income from cave provinces. And similar to Satis, to Abyssia, it doesn't really do much to me, but people coming in to attack me, they don't like fighting in the dark, usually, and I do.
Okay, I just double-checked it is a cave.
Sweet.
Starting next to Asphodel, how is that matchup? Is that a decent matchup?
If I was Asphodel, I'd be crying.
What?
Yeah.
I'm really excited, Zan, because you have a lot of confidence here.
Well, I got Mabisia. But in Asphodel's very specific case, they're just going lore-wise. They are living angry tree people, and what are they going to do if I'm going to send a living fireball at them?
It's a good question. I'll do my best. I am not thrilled that you are my neighbor, however.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mian, I keep forgetting that you're Asphodel, and I think that we're going to push into you relatively soon. Is there anything else? Because we did kind of touch on, on your starting location quite a bit, Zan. Is there anything of note with Satis being to your south? And the rap is really hurting me. Would that matter? Does that matter to you at all? And Pangea being to your east.
May I say something? I believe I am to his south, unless I'm reading the map wrong.
And Relay is if it's Rosia, you're to his south.
So as Abyssia, my south is Relay. Some direction I have Asphodel, the other direction Satis, and the other direction Naba.
Yep.
Satis is the scariest one out of all that because Foul Vapors is shenanigans, and Abyssia has a very hard time with Foul Vapors.
Excuse me, doesn't he border Pangea and not Satis? Satis is diagonal.
Oh, you are correct. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. I was reading the map wrong. Okay, so Relay is that way. Pan is this way. Okay, yeah, keep going, dude.
Well, Pan can be Foul Vapors too.
Relay is a more difficult fight on land. Because the Meteorite Guard are fairly tanky, and their weakness is ranged weaponry, of which Abyssia has none. Han with Foul Vapors is also a difficult matchup because it guarantees that both sides lose their sacreds in a fight, but Pan also has Foul Vapors to make the regular troops of Abyssia have a bad time.
Okay, so let's move on to Asphodel, because we are running a little short on time, and I want to get through the last two nations. Asphodel, Mian, how are you enjoying all of these forests? Is that good for you? Is it so for you? How does that look?
I think I am even more forest dependent than Pan, and so having a few forests nearby is very appreciated. I would perhaps trade starting locations to somebody not near Abyssia, but aside from that, if I survive more than like 3 seconds, having forests nearby is very helpful.
Now, what does it give you?
It gives me the ability to recruit mages in more than every other turn, because I can only make palisades despite this being MA. So I need to cast a national spell that allows me to grow forts in forests in order to recruit mages at a normal rate.
Now, how does Asphodel work with their pop kill mechanic?
They are much slower than Urmor and Lemuria and such in pop kill. So you will have some pop, but it's still, you feel it. Like there's no, like even 1 or 2 candles will overpower Growth 3. But unfortunately, you still take Growth 3 because your free spawn depends on it. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. You have to play with your design points quite a bit to try to make things work.
What's interesting is, okay, we're going to come up on Mictlan now. Okay, so you've got Mictlan to your north, but it looks like there's a mountain range between you. You kind of are hedged in, because to your south, and I can't really... Hold on, let me see if I can bring the other one to the front. If you see, there's a lake right here between you and Airmore. So you're limited in the directions that you're going to go. With your expand, how was your expand? Is it a pretty decent expand? Have you tested it at all?
I mean, I could expand just fine in single player, but that's single player. Yeah, we'll see what the other players allow.
Excellent.
But in terms of base rate, yeah, I mean, I expand. I would say about the same as I would with other nations, somewhere in like the 15 to 20 plus turn 12 range.
Rosia, how do you feel?
That depends on land layout and indie strength and all that.
Rosia, how do you feel about Asphodel as a nation?
I think that there are certain matchups that they struggle with quite a bit, and there are certain matchups where they do surprisingly well. And there's a certain half of the game in which they are very sad because they can no longer make sacreds.
Zan, have you gotten in an Asphodel game?
Playing one? No. Against one? Yes.
How did you feel about the matchup?
Fire Shield makes them cry, so they're gonna try to do thugs, but then just anything that's anti-thug makes them cry again. And I don't know what they do after that.
Toolbox, how did you enjoy, or how can you compare Pangea and Asphodel? Are they the same nation, or are they radically different?
They're very different. I mean, one's a buff kill nation, and the other one isn't. And just on that its own, it's quite different. They have a similar looking sprite, but that's about it, really. That's what I think. If other people might differ on that, I guess.
There's
Gazloff,
a
I
few
can tell you
parallels with
something
Pan,
interesting,
but they're
yeah.
pretty different.
Yeah, I can tell you something interesting though. I once played as a Pan, and I was fighting against Skeleria one time, and I managed to seduce some of the cultists. And you can reanimate with those cultists, right? And what you reanimate isn't skeletons, but you reanimate Asphodel's troops.
do you really?
Mannequins?
Yeah. You get
Wow.
mannequins. You get awake mannequins. Yeah. And so
Mannequins
I
are a
managed
weird
to-
unit.
Yeah. I managed to get a lot of mannequins. I managed to get some of the sacred ones too, and I thought it was pretty cool. I managed to get 5 cultists. It was pretty cool. Yeah. That's
Okay.
as related as they can ever get, I guess.
Let's push on to our last nation and probably one of the more interesting picks, Mictlan. Now, I'm still going to try to talk Grippa into possibly changing, but I think it's too late at this point because Mictlan's kind of an interesting choice. Gazloff, can you explain what's so weird about Mictlan being a choice?
Well, I know it's probably not going to be a problem for Agrippa, but a lot of new players lose in the first 7 turns with Mictlan because they forget to blood sacrifice. Now,
Is that
I don't,
true in MA?
I don't
This
know
is
about,
Italy,
yeah, I
so-
don't know about MA. See, MA might be.
Yeah, MA doesn't have any blood.
And
I don't think they have the same Dominion roles as EA and LA.
They do not have dying Dominion.
So, okay, what is Rosie? I'm gonna hit on you again. What is the change between EA and MA Mictlan?
Many of the mages are similar, but instead of being a blood-focused nation, it is a nature and air nation mostly.
And Astral. Definitely
and
Astral, too.
It has some astral, especially with the Claddles, but another
No, the
major
recruit
change-
anywhere mage is the turkey. I don't think you get a viable mage outside your capital other than those that's good in combat. So they're quite
Well,
heavy Astral.
they have Sky Priests who are Air 1, so if you put Storm up at any point, then you follow it up with Air 2 Sky Priests. But,
Yeah, it's okay. I actually think the Astral ones are better personally.
yeah,
I'd
they're
rather
better,
recruit
but
turkeys
you can
than
use
Air
both of
ones.
them, especially since the other ones are priests that you get outside of your cap, which you have Flying Holy Threes and good Commander Holy Threes, so you have strong cap-only options. But regardless, the other major change is that instead of having Recruit Everywhere Jaguar Warriors, you have Recruit Everywhere Eagle Warriors, which fly when blessed, so they like to pretend to be a flying nation, I guess.
Yep, but you can't map move fly with them, sadly. So they are combat flyers only.
You surely have not heard of the larger wind walking, every terrain survival.
I mean, I would almost rather play that than the Thunder Weapons one that somebody played against me a few games back. It's such a big price.
How big of a threat is MA Mictlan? Because I've always heard they got a huge nerf from EA to MA.
They don't have blood summons, but I think they can still hit people pretty hard. in the right circumstances.
I can
They
fit in
have
on this.
they have blood summons, but they don't have blood normally.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's hard for them to
Yeah,
get into blood.
Well, you can technically break into blood, but unless they're finding garnet Amazons, it's probably a pretty difficult route to go.
They have a hero that does it, but
Yeah.
the main thing with Miklins then, and this I think more is the reason why people die with them a lot, is you can't half-ass the bless. Your bless needs to be all in, and I think this is more so for MA Miklin than any of the other ones because of how cheap their sacreds are. The Eagle Warriors are pennies, and
Okay,
it's
well,
not that they're very good in one-on-one. It's you're gonna have 100 sacreds per turn very easily.
And if you don't take it, like you cannot kill elite units with your normal troops very practically. So you almost have to take something that lets you do that, so you don't just die.
Yes.
It feels like okay. So what are the things that Mictlan usually gets like a whole ton of? Don't they usually spam a blood summon?
Not
Also,
in MA.
but not
Those
in
waddles are.
Yeah, Aussies. They don't have them in MA then, right?
Well, they
They
have
have
them. They
these
just can't
spells,
summon
but-
them. It's just difficult to summon them because they don't have a blood economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a trap to try to go into blood too quickly with Mictlan. Like if you get some garnets or something, okay, fine, but like I wouldn't build around it, especially because heavily blessed Eagle Warriors backed with the turkeys it's a pretty threatening setup, and you can bolster that with your cap only stuff.
Yep. Remember, the Eagle Warriors are not cap only.
Yeah, they recruit
That's why-
anyway.
That's why I said earlier you will be getting dozens of them per turn compared to another nation's 5 sacreds a turn.
Okay, guys. Well, that does bring us to the end of our of our list and of our starting locations. I'm thinking that this is going to start relatively soon, and then I need to get my interviews in with different nations. I would like to do a more in depth with some of these nations, and so look forward to those episodes. If there's anything you'd like to see as a viewer before this starts, let me know in the comments. Gaslov, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
RCK, it's been a wonderful time with you again, dude.
I'm glad I could join.
Rosia, I'm enjoying the knowledge that you're bringing.
Thank you. It's been
It-
fun being here.
And Mian, same to you, dude. Thank you for joining up with us.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Toolbox, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
And Zan, awesome having you again.
Pleasure being here.
And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.